Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of League Chat with the Stat. Thank you for joining me once again on another cracker week. Guys, just before we get into it, thank you all so much for your support with the merch. That's just displayed right in front here. The support's been overwhelming. Everyone's been buying hats, which is pretty awesome. So I do want to thank you all for your support. And, with the way we're going, maybe we'll bring up more merch. We'll just see what happens. But, guys, we're here. I'm finally joined by a special guest of ours, Emil. Hello, bud.
Yeah, mate. Good. Finally made it on.
Yeah, I know, bro. This has been a long time coming.
Long time in the
Long time coming.
It's good to be here.
Mate, good to have you on.
Setup looks awesome, man. Love
Thanks,
it.
bro. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great.
We do what we got, you know what I mean? We just make do with what we've got, and it works. People seem to watch and enjoy it, let's get straight into it, guys. Going through the NRL ladder at the conclusion of round 15. So we see Storm remain on top after the massive win over the Tigers, tied with Panthers on 26 points. Eagles and the Rabbitohs tied on 24. That round up the top four. Fifth Roosters, which is still unbelievable.
I can't believe they're still there.
Yeah, ridiculous. They're on 20.
Their depths and their systems.
Yeah, everything is fantastic. So they're on 20. Sixth are the Seagulls on 18. And then there's a bit of a divide here, 4-point buffer between the Seagulls and the Dragons on 14 points. Tied with the Sharks and Cowboys through to the 9th spot. Then you've got the Raiders, Warriors and Knights on 12 points. You've got the Titans and the Tigers, who are now 14th, which we'll get into, on 10 points. And we're sitting 15th. Look at us go. We've gone up. Even though we lose, we go up somehow. 6 points.
Didn't lose as much as we did, that's all.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then we've got the Bronx sitting dead last at this stage.
Mate, just quickly, I can't believe the Dragons are in the top 8.
I know.
They've been horrible. Other than the good few matches they did, the good run, they've been horrible since.
They had won 3 of their last 8.
Some rant, just on and off.
Yeah.
How they played against you guys a couple of weeks ago was...
Yeah, we got the win over them. It just sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Terrible. Yeah, for sure. Let's get straight into it, guys. Recapping all things around 15. It's a tough one for you, mate, to start. Rabbitohs 46 defeating the Bronx 0. What was your take on the performance?
Look, they started strong, as usual. Held them off for a little bit. I think they were a bit unlucky to get the no try early, but then it's like the second that didn't go their way, that's it, they were done. And it's just the usual, and that's the problem with having a rookie team.
Yeah,
I think they're all too young and all too scarred from last year, to be honest. It's just a tough one. They had 3 HIAs and an injury, so we're down to one bloke on the bench.
Yeah.
So a lot of shuffling around, and in a team that's already been shuffled around a fair bit over the last few weeks, anyway. So there was just no chance that they were coming back or even were in the contest. They're good for 20 minutes as usual and gone.
Yeah. And the crazy part about all this was that Rabbitohs, they finished at 69% completion and they had 15 errors.
That's the crazy thing. Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
They didn't complete very well at all.
No.
So I reckon Bennett would have gotten into him for that the completion rate, because that was pretty poor.
Yeah, look, any coach would be happy with keeping the opposition to 0, especially in his case, Brisbane.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did this in the 46-0 smashing. They did that with a 69% completion rate, and their error count was 13 to 15 errors, something ridiculous.
Crazy.
The thing is, I find with the Broncos at the moment, it's kind of similar to the Bulldogs, where anything that goes against them, they just don't have that experience around them, or they don't have them to say, all right, let's snap out, we can come back from this. Because one bad thing goes their way.
Exactly.
It's for both our clubs, mate, for the Dogs and for the Bronx, where something goes their way, that's it. The whole morale drops.
Because that's just how it's been over the last year or two now.
Yeah.
And so it's just trained. It's ingrained in them. They both need a clean out. Look, the Dogs are in a good place for next year, in my opinion, in terms of getting some winners from good clubs.
Yeah.
But there's a long way to go for both these clubs.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I've been saying it since the beginning of the year. I reckon Rabbits can pull a rabbit out of the hat, pun intended, in the finals, and I reckon they're the only team that can possibly knock off a Storm or a Panthers.
Yeah.
In a random upset, but I still think,
Yeah, definitely. I think, to sum up kind of the night was the post-match interview with TPJ. Being told that, during the game it was announced that he wasn't going to be kept at the club. I don't know if you paid attention to the comments at the end, but he basically goes, well, contracts mean nothing these days. If they've considered me to be the 4 guy, then it is what it is.
Yeah. Look, I think that I love him. He's one of my favourite players. But at the same time, the amount of money that we've got tied up with his contract and with Lodge's contract, if TPJ was on 400 grand a year instead of 800, for example, fantastic. But the fact is, he's good every second game. He's not as powerful and as dominating as he is every game. If he was, then he's worth 800 grand. But when you look at the clubs like the Storm, the Panthers, I can't think of a single forward that's probably more on more than 500 or 600 grand a year. And if they are, they're consistent. Like, you look on the opposite end, Cam Murray's probably on 600-700.
Yeah.
But look what he puts in every week, right? That's to me is what you spend your money on a forward.
Yeah, and he delivers, and you're right, it's like consistency, and he delivers week in, week out.
Lodge puts in as well, same thing. But putting in 20 minutes every couple of weeks is just not enough, and then they just switch off in defence. Like, you want a leader for that amount of money. I feel sorry for TPJ because he wants to stay, but at the same time, he's just on too much money, and that's not Walter's fault. It's not his fault either.
It's just previous management that put him on that contract.
Yeah, 100%. It's ridiculous.
And that's what both of our clubs are struggling with at the moment. Was, for the Dogs for the last 5 years, we're trying to get rid of all these players and all these salaries that we're paying other clubs.
Yep.
We just got out of it this year. And now we're
going to. Now you got plenty of money to play with.
Yeah, we do. We've got money to play with now.
Yeah.
But look, you can't take anything away from the Rabbitohs, regardless of those stats. They still put in.
They're brilliant. That pass from Cody Walker.
Oh, to the draw?
That first try.
Wow.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy.
One of the best tries I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Unreal.
To me, he is my favourite player in the comp. Only because he just sees it like backyard footy. I love that. Him and Latrell, oh my goodness. Those two.
That combo, flawless.
Just brilliant.
And that was the first try of the night.
Yeah, I just can't believe that.
But look, you want to talk about
like 30, if you're up by 30, then you pull that out. But to do that when it's 0-all, and Broncos are going all right at that point, and that just turned everything.
Yeah, turned everything on its head. Yeah, no, you're right. We're talking about great players at the Rabbitohs at the moment. Alex Johnston, mate, this guy, I can't believe
how was he unwanted last year?
I can't believe at one point the Rabbitohs said you go to Melbourne. Melbourne, oh my goodness, if he went to Melbourne.
Oh, he'd be the best winger in the comp.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there anyway. He's probably the best winger in the comp. One of them.
Yeah.
Him and Addo Carr.
But these tries that he's scoring.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's on Xavier Coates' side in that match. I mean, he's scoring these against everyone because their left edge attack is freakish.
Yeah.
But as good as that Coates try saver was, where he ran 90 metres, made that try saving tackle, that was brilliant. But what people got to realise is the reason he's been let go is, I mean, he wants 500 grand, but at the same time he let in 4 tries that night. That's a huge thing. That's why he got dropped from Queensland as well. So there's still some major deficiencies in his game. Johnson is a great player. No doubt he's been doing that to everything. He put 5 on the Roosters last year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So there's no doubt about that. And I can't believe he was unwanted, but I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon anyway.
No, and you mentioned something there that actually reminded me of something. You talked about the Xavier Coates try saver. Usually in a proper winning side, that turns it around for the club.
Yeah.
In that game. That turns it around. And so when I saw that, I'm like, all right, this can be the turning point.
Nothing.
And it just, unfortunately...
No difference whatsoever. Because what happens from there is, all right, they get excited for one set, they realise they haven't scored at the end of that one set, and that's it. They realise it's an arm wrestle for the rest of the game, and they just give up. Yeah.
No, that's it. And we'll talk about Cam Murray earlier, and just some of these stats, in 80 minutes, 27 runs, 220 metres, 3 tackle breaks, 4 offloads, and 37 tackles.
This game suits him. The 6 again rule suits him.
Yeah.
Just a quick forward, quick feet, amazing, quick play the balls, and just gets the team on the front foot every time.
Yeah. He's freaky.
He's a gun.
Yeah, for sure. We on to the next game. Sharks 26 defeating the Cowboys 24. Sharks on a 4-game winning streak at the moment. They've done enough for the last, especially 2 weeks, to just hold on. Not probably what they'd be looking for. Yeah, they're winning, but now that you're winning, you want to fix up and try win and keep that lead bigger than what it was. They had them at 26 points to 12, to like 20 minutes to go, and then they scored 2 tries in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they could leak points pretty quickly. Sean Johnson's been playing some really good footy, but at the same time, if you look at a lot of the tries in this game and the game before, they usually go through him. But yeah, for sure, I think the Sharks, I mean, I always thought they were a pretty good team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now that SJ's back and he's starting to get the rhythm back after his injury, I think they'll start to do well. I still think, I mean, there's still no hope in the semis.
No,
but
not at all.
But yeah,
because it just comes down to those 3 top clubs.
it does. Yeah, 100%.
That's the divide in the league
Yeah,
at the moment.
it's just a huge divide.
There's
so much missing. Yeah,
and I think with the Cowboys, they left it too little, too late. I found. That sneaky try in the corner by Felt was actually that was pretty hilarious. I loved it.
I love him. He comes up with these random tries.
Yeah.
Like that one, I think it was against us, the Broncos, where he just twisted his arm and just over the top. It was just unbelievable.
He's freakish at times. It's good.
He's just he's just a smart footballer.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was, and the way the Cowboys were going, they could have run with that and finished it off. We saw prior against the Warriors a couple of weeks back, where Warriors were leading, and then they scored a try from their 30.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, they marched up field, put a field goal, won the game. So you thought it was heading that way. 2 minutes to go. The sin being caught on Reece Robson. Okay, I'm sorry.
I've seen some bad calls, but that's got to be...
That's pathetic.
Got to be the worst.
Surely, in the tackle, if you're falling...
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? And then there's like, that's just... And then when... This is the part that really ticked me off. Was the part when Tamalolo walks up to the ref, says, all right, sends him for 10. He goes, mate, but he was falling in the tackle. He goes, mate, that's just how it is at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
It's a circus.
Oh, man. It was so bad. I don't know what other... There was another match where the ref said... I think it was with TKO, which we'll talk about in the next one. I think the ref said there was no mitigating circumstances. But the guy had slipped. He was pretty much on his knees when he got high tackled. But, yeah, these... Oh, man. It wasn't even the ref. It was the bunker that called that one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think there's been calls on the bunker trying to get involved at times, and now that they're starting to get involved, keep him out of it because
honestly,
the way it's going,
they're pretty much got 2 refs again, right?
Yeah, it's exactly 100%.
Oh, that was a shocking call. Like I thought the Hetherington one a couple of weeks ago was bad, but this takes the cake.
No, for sure. And look, the Cowboys are just at the moment. They've lost 2 straight now. They started off well again. Like last week against Penalty, they started off well, got up to 12-0, then they got put 50 on them.
Yeah.
They started off a little bit better in this game. Then they just blew the lead to the Sharks, and then it was too little too late for them. They just kind of tried to come back in and
they're just
perform a heroic thing for their home crowd. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
Typical for those middle-range teams, they just can't stick out the good form or the consistency for more than 2 weeks or for even more than 50, 60 minutes a game. Like that's why you'll see Sharks and Cowboys. For me, they're about the same, same quality. And same thing, like it's just a yo-yo. It just goes back and forth for both those teams. Yeah,
for sure. There's a player that's been on my mind and he's been playing phenomenal for maybe the last month, particularly Toby Rudolph.
Yeah.
I love what he brings to that club.
Mate.
So upset with me still.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that, I thought the Dogs... He'd be the perfect player to lead their forward pack because I think that's what you guys are missing. Not so much backs, but really a good bunch of forwards. And mate, he's a gun player.
Yeah, and he's ripping up. He's
solid. Tough bloke. Just no errors, no penalties. Just a tough bloke. Makes his meters, makes his tackles,
gets the job done.
Yeah,
and he's quite the character you want in the team.
He is, for sure.
Yeah, his character in the media, which got him in trouble a while back. But that's his character, That's his character. He's just all about having a laugh.
Oh, I love it.
But you need characters like that in the game, for sure.
100%.
Yeah, they got to stick around.
Yeah, for sure.
The Panthers 38 defeating the Roosters 12. What was your take on this game?
Look, the Roosters look pretty good, to be honest. I think the Panthers... I had a feeling they'd click. I think the ref kind of changed the momentum of the game as well. I mean, with the Tekiaho sin bin, there's a couple of penalties that went against them. But then once the Panthers got a bit of momentum, once they get a sniff, you're done. Like, you know what I mean? I think they'd gone, 2 losses in a row, and I'm sure at 12-0 down, I think it was 12-0 down, I think they would have thought, okay, maybe maybe we're not as good as what we thought. And then they just get one little opportunity and they just take advantage. Like, they're just unbelievable. Last year I thought there was a lot missing from their game. And this year I thought there'd be more missing because they lost a bit of experience. But they're just freaks. They're machines. They don't make errors. They're scoring some great tries now, which I thought was missing last year. I thought they were a bit one-dimensional at times with their attack. Yeah. But, what do you reckon? Like, what do you...
Well, like kind of what you're saying. So, the Roosters got off to a gun start. Now, I saw that, I was like, what the heck, this is some phenomenal football. And it took And what kind of stopped that momentum was when you score that try and then that first set after you score needs to be the best set.
It does.
It has
to
be.
You need a good kick. You need some good meters. Defend it well.
Yeah, Joey Manu knocks it on and you got.
Yeah.
And then third tackle, they went and scored through a kick. Clearly putting a kick for Crichton and they scored. And that was the start of the decline.
Coach killers, mate.
Yeah, coach killers. Just the little things. But I promise, a big call. Had they put in a better set, I reckon they could have got out to maybe potential 18, 24-0 lead. For sure.
I know. They were well on top, I thought, at that point.
Yeah. They were flying, and then the second Panthers got that try. It just game over. They took over.
It was a good try. I mean, it was one of the same thing as what we said before with Cody Walker and that pass. That was at nil-all with Cody Walker and the pass to the troll. Cleary puts his gun kick into Crichton when they're 12 points down. That was just unbelievable. I thought,
such is the confidence in the side.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
They don't care. They don't For me, the best athletes don't look at the scoreboard. They just play every minute like it's fresh.
Yeah.
And that's just what the Panthers are doing at the moment. I reckon even if they were 30-0 down, I reckon they would have come back and won that match.
Yeah.
They're just that good at the moment.
Yeah, they're just flying. And then we talked about earlier, like TKO call with that sim bidding. Again, I saw it twice in 2 games. I'm thinking to myself, surely, all right, the NRL are trying to come in and crack down. But surely there's a bit of common sense that they just have to use at the same time. If you're falling, why are we putting these guys off for 10?
Yeah. Look, I think, like we said before, I think it's shocking. But the irony of this is just, for me, golden, because Trent Robinson had a sook about James Tedesco, how many times he'd fall. I mean, how many times have other teams been sin bin for James Tedesco slipping over? I think it's 3 this year already, and 1 before the crackdown as well.
Yeah.
And now he's having a bit of a, rightly so, because that's the rule now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no common sense. How do they not know what's accidental and what's not? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And he got back up. The player got back up and he was fine.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If it was accidental and, got him in the head and knocked him out, he had to HIA, fair enough, I understand the sin bin. But,
totally understandable.
even though it was an accident, but if nothing's happened, I don't get it. I don't get these refs, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's one thing that I feel like I should just come on and just talk about refs for 45 minutes a week. I promise. Easily. I feel like, so easy.
Seriously.
But, just on that, though, the bunker gets involved. We were talking about bunker earlier. They get involved in some of these plays and some of these incidents. Do they hire idiots? Because, honestly, you look at it and any fan can walk in to that bunker, sit down and say, okay, that's normal. Yeah. Anyone. I don't understand how, all right, people make mistakes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But with the technology we have, and with the ability to make calls and call what's in front of us, we're still getting it wrong.
Yep.
And these people, they're NRL officials, or they hide from the NRL, especially to take over the bunker. It's amazing how if you and I walked in, control 8 games for the weekend, there'd be no issues.
A lot better. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how they've got it so wrong. But at the same time, I was listening to, I think it was NRL 360 last week, and they were talking about, okay, half the fans might have this thought that, TKO should have got sin bin, and then half would say he shouldn't get sin bin. But my view is that a true rugby league supporter would say, you know what, that's not a sin bin. And the only ones who would say that is a sin bin, okay, are the ones who's just bought into this rubbish rule.
Yeah.
The new rules. And it's working. It's working for Volandis and his team because people are buying into it. You go and watch it with a bunch of people and they say, oh, why isn't that a sin bin? Come on, man. A lot of stuff shouldn't be a sin bin that is at the moment.
Yeah.
But people are buying into it, which I'm not surprised. I mean, that's like with everything.
No, for sure, man. And I think, it's just we sit back and we observe and we call it how it is because I feel like the people that they hire, they don't allow them to use a common sense. And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And we're going to keep seeing calls, the one on Reece Robson to Tolman to Tokyo on Cleary. So
it should just be an automatic rule. If they slip, no sin bin.
Yeah.
Unless they're knocked out.
If you want to look at the replay, no problem.
Yeah.
Look at the replay. But if you look at it and you can see it for yourself, don't get the bunk in, put it on for 10. The ref at the same time on the field needs to use his common sense.
These guys got no charges. TKO got off.
Yeah.
TKO got off tonight, just before. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, you want to talk about the charges, actually. Thank you for reminding me. So TKO gets fined, $11.50 or $1,500? Yeah. Robson didn't even get charged.
Yeah.
Because
it's like Hetherington 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He sent off in the 55th minute or 60th minute, whatever it was plenty of time to go. Didn't even get a charge. He didn't even get a fine. Nothing.
The inconsistency of the match review committee. Again, that's a
nuts,
whole
man.
different...
We can go forever, honestly.
Oh, I know. For sure. But the two forwards for me from Panthers and Roosters really killed it. JFH and JWH. Mate, 19 runs, 198 metres for JFH with an offload and 29 tackles. And in case anyone doesn't know who JFH is, that's James Fisher-Harris for the Panthers. And Jared Hargraves, 17 runs, 158 metres, offload, 39 tackles.
Crazy stuff.
Just on JWH.
He's playing big minutes, eh?
But he played 80 minutes every week. He played 68 on the weekend. But he's been putting out some ridiculously big numbers. I think because that leadership is not there in the club, because of how many have retired due to concussions, not of any fault of their own, but corners had to retire, friends had to retire, Morris has had to retire. That's 600, 700 games of experience. So he's been you know what? I'll charge it on my back. And he's been playing 80 minutes. He's 31. This is some ridiculously big minutes.
Which is nuts, yeah. For his body, for his build as well.
It's crazy.
He's never been that type of player. James Fisher-Harris has been. He's always played sort of big minutes.
50 to 60, yeah.
Yeah, but Warrior Hargraves, never.
Yeah.
He's pulled it out of nowhere. It's unbelievable. Good on him, though.
Yeah, no.
He's playing awesome footy.
He's playing great footy. He's just passed 250 games as well, and I feel like he's getting better.
He is, eh?
Yeah,
That's
he's flying. Over to the next game. Knights 10 defeated the Warriors 6.
Oh my gosh, this game.
Yeah. I found that times was pretty boring.
Yeah.
The Warriors had it at so many instances, but in terms of a team performance from the Knights, it was a lot better. They're very lucky to get away. I'm not going to come in and say they were fantastic and it's a turn. No, not at all.
Very lucky to get away with it.
Very lucky, yeah. They completed 85%, which I think was very important for them. You just know that Mitchell Pearce comes back into that team. And regardless of how we feel about him, he's just for that side. He's fantastic.
He's a leader. That's what it is. And at the end of the day, the last try they saw, Reece Walsh had made the last tackle. Sorry, the second last tackle.
Yeah.
So he was out at fullback, but he was to the right. RTS had covered from the wing to go into fullback pretty much to make the try saver. And Pearce just picks the ball up or goes into first receiver, gets the ball, shifts it left straight away, gives them the match winner. And that's his influence. That's his experience.
Yeah.
I think they know that they can get out of trouble when he's there, only because of the amount of experience he's got. Yeah. I think he's a great club footballer, to be honest. A lot of people knock him, but I think, mate, I'd take him at the Broncos. I think he's a good player, to be honest. Just... maybe not in Origin, but yeah.
Yeah, not in Origin at all. We've seen what he does.
And Clifford's been playing pretty good. Those bombs he was doing to Reece Walsh, Walsh is still a rookie, but they were flying everywhere. Obviously, it was pouring down rain.
Yeah, the weather,
it was windy as well, but gee, there's some big kicks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just thought for the Knights, it's the win they needed. But, again, and I'll bring it back to the lack of consistency in that side. You look at it and think, okay, they just needed that win. Now they'll turn it around. And they don't turn it around. And that's the problem.
I don't get it. For me, that's a top 5 or 6, on the ladder squad. But they're just... I
think it's a top 4 forward pack.
It is. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's
easy. For me, on their day,
four.
they're the best forward pack. But I just don't get it. They go missing... And I don't know what's happened to Brayley as well. He hasn't been playing as well. It's a tough one. Yeah, he's been quiet. I think Connor Watson's been underutilised as well.
Yeah.
Barnett, underutilised. I think he might have been 80 minutes this week, finally. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's coaching or strategy or if these guys are just not up to it sometimes. But they've been very inconsistent for such a good squad, good lineup.
For sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a team that should really be knocking on the doors of the top 8, but they're sitting 12th at the moment.
Yeah.
For the Warriors, they just, so many opportunities. But look, we come back, but we talk about little effort makers. We talk about Jaden Brayley, that try saver on Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was great.
That was brilliant. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just the way Walsh, he let the ball bounce, caught it, spun, and then he just gunned it. The kid he's a freak. He backs himself, and he's just... For him, he's just like, this is just a normal game for me. But to us, we're looking, we're like, mate, you're 18, you're 6 games in.
I know.
And obviously, look, not to rub salt in the moon, but you always at the Broncos, and you obviously, in the beginning of the year...
I mentioned to everyone, I said, this guy's a gun. He's going to be our fullback by round 10 or 11, which is when the development contract, he could be picked in the NRL. And they let him slip. Obviously, they tried to re-sign him, but just didn't work out. I mean, the amount of money, and he just didn't want to wait 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, why would you when you can go and learn off RTS and pretty much play first grade straight away?
And be the type of player that you are and what you're bringing to the side
Correct.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason I brought that out was because in the beginning of the year, you said to me, mate, Reece Walsh, watch out.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we'll look into it. And then you just watch some of these Queensland Cup games, and the way he just splits the defense, the way he's just so creative. Yeah, just watching, I was like, wow, he is a freak of nature.
My view on him was that I didn't mind what Walters wanted to do because the kid, because of COVID, he'd never played against adults. He was 17 last year, never played Queensland Cup. Didn't play anything last year because of COVID. There was no comps in Queensland. So he hadn't played against adults for a year and a half, even when he did play upper grade 2 years ago. So what Walters wanted to do was put him in Queensland Cup for 10 weeks and then put him into first grade. Obviously, he didn't want that, which is fair. I'm sure the $500,000 a year sort of contributes to that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Compared to say 300 to 350 to play in the team that came last, but it is what it is, man. He's a freak player. He's going to be. He's a 10-year player.
Yeah,
he's got it all. He really does. He's a tough little fella too.
Yeah, it does for sure. And I think with the Warriors, missing 45 tackles, you can't do that. And this is they didn't respect the possession either. They cleared pair maybe 55 to 60%.
Yeah,
very poor. Yeah, all right, the conditions. But we've seen Eels Storm early in the year where Eels completed at 94%.
Yeah,
so that it's not an excuse. It can be done.
Yeah.
But we talked about the forwards earlier. Clemmer and Saifidi both 200 meters each.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Clemmer, this was his first week demoted off the bench. He came off the bench this week. He played up 200 meters.
Yeah.
He got too comfortable playing up prop where he wasn't aiming up at times. Yep. And so for him to come off the bench and put in 200 meters, it's kind of saying, look, this is what I can do. Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's right.
But he's just reminding the coaching staff, reminding everyone, all right, don't want to pick me in Origin, you don't want to pick me out starting in the club, no dramas, but this is what I'm bringing.
I think this might be a bit sort of controversial, but I reckon if you look at their performances last year, Clemmer was a leader. And I think him missing out, I mean, they picked a leadership group of 6 people. Him missing out on that, I think, was a big influence on why he hasn't been playing as good this year or early on in the year anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, it's interesting. And all those rumours a couple of weeks ago saying, they wanted to swap him out for Lodge as well. I mean, I'd take him. I think that's a
it's a great swap.
I'd take Clemmer over Lodge any day of the week.
For sure.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
You know what he's capable of. But, yeah, look, it's good to see him in some form finally because I like watching him play. He's a tough fella as well. And, we'll see what the Knights do. They'll probably rock up next week and be poor again.
For sure. Yeah. This is typical Knights.
Yeah.
They don't like saying it, but you call it. You have to know how it is at times. It's how it is. Dragons 22, defeating the Raiders 20. A very entertaining game. I thought it was actually a really good game. I was really watching this game with a lot of intent for both sides.
Yeah.
Dragons lost last week to the Dogs, and Raiders blew you guys off the park. But again, you can't really base the Raiders' performance off beating the Broncos.
We play
if Dragons put 20 on us, Bears by 20, that's not really doing much either. That's not saying much.
They put 50 on us though.
Yeah. Oh, they did. They put 40. Yeah, sure. Oh, Dragons. That's right. That's right.
50 on us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Raiders 40 the week after.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. You're right.
We get to play each other, but mate, Ben Hunt, I love him. He's my favourite halfback in the game. I'd love to see him and Cody Walker in halves together somehow. But it's just off the cuff. He was running, and that's what when he runs, he's so dangerous.
Yeah.
So he pulled them out of nowhere, and I thought they were brilliant. And Raiders, I mean, they got called the Faders years ago for a reason.
Yeah, but it's showing more than ever.
And they're fading second half this year every time.
Unbelievable.
I just don't get it.
And I try to think, all right, let me put my finger on it, but I can't. I just can't seem to find why they're fading so hard. Is there... Obviously, we know the dramas. They've had dramas with George Williams. They've had dramas with Joe Tapine. But at the same time, how do you not... If you... Look at the week, if you look at it, they had the week off as well. So they would have looked at it and said, okay, coming back after the Brisbane game, they have a bit more confidence in them. And we know what type of team the Raiders can be. We know what they can offer and what they bring to the table. But if you've gone and you've blown about 6 or 7 leads, maybe more, and you're still not realising the problem, then there's got to be something wrong between the players and the coach. There's got to be some disconnect between the players and the coach. Surely. All right, I know how Josh Hodgson came out and he talked about how George Williams wasn't treated fairly. Okay.
Yeah.
I understood. He's now gone and he's now gone to another England club, Warrington, I believe.
Yeah.
That's now in the past. You cannot be dwelling on, this happened 4 weeks ago and I'm still upset.
Correct.
You got to get over
I don't even know why that's even in the headlines still. That's the whole George Williams thing.
Yeah, well, he's come out and given his side of the story, which is now putting them back under the microscope. But they let it get to them. They let that affect them.
He's gone. But to me, the thing is, I never rated George Williams that highly. I mean, I think he's good as a 5'8". I don't think he's a halfback. He didn't control the game, and I think that's where they went missing in the second half multiple times. Even last year they did it.
Yep.
And then Sam Williams. I mean, he's a good player. I've liked Sam Williams for years.
Yeah, already.
I think he's a solid player, and he should have played a lot more first grade games, but he just doesn't have the experience to close out a game or to know what to do exactly when they're leading. You know, and I think that's what they're missing. They're missing real leadership in the halves. And then when you look at their forward pack as well, the depth of that forward pack are some of the players that can't even make the 17.
Yeah.
You know, players like Ryan James, man, like he was playing great earlier this year. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's a divide there, but yeah, they need a bit more leadership in the halves. And now they're going after Townsend, I think. Is it Townsend? Oh no, Warriors are going after.
Warriors going after him.
Yeah, they're going after Widdop. Yeah. Just to get that bit of experience. They need that.
They need it for sure. And that's what they're struggling at the moment because obviously they've faded away too many times. Yeah. And it's becoming to a point where it's like...
old faders.
Yeah, they're back.
I love that name. Yeah.
Back better than ever. Yeah. But look, I thought the Dragons fullback, I thought he was fantastic.
Sloan,
yeah. I thought his performance was great.
Yeah.
Did the Dragons miss Matt Duffy, you reckon? I know it's one game, and I know I'm not trying to overhype it, but in the one game, do you think they missed Duffy at all?
No, not really, because Sloan's a pretty attacking footballer anyway.
Yeah.
I think I didn't see anything from Sloan in defence that I hadn't seen from Duffy. I mean, he's good. I think Sloan's got a lot of upside, but to me, I rate Duffy very highly. Obviously, he had an absolute shocker last week against the Dogs.
Yeah.
But that was probably the worst game I've ever seen him play in his life. You know?
Yeah. 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've never seen him play that bad. But yeah, I think that they got up, so they didn't really miss him that much. But yeah, I think his ball playing out the back with that speed is just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I think what Duffy brings to the side and attack is flawless.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
But for Sloan, I think it's a good opportunity for him to come out and really own his performance and own that jersey. Especially with the direction they're looking at. The Saints
I'm surprised that the Saints came out and said that Duffy will be ready and be straight back into the team next game when they don't want him. And Sloan is the future, and I think they can clearly do nothing this year in terms of the premiership.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just blood Sloan and keep him there.
I think they just want a top 8 berth.
Yeah. For what? Just for the coach to keep his job.
That's honestly,
it. That's it. Yeah, I can't think.
That's
of
it. There's no other reason. You know, if
why would you tell a guy you don't want him and then play him when what you want in that position is available now?
Or when you're getting rid of him, like you said, and then the opportunity was for the Raiders to say we can take him now. No, we need him.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But if you don't want him for next year, what use is he going to waste his time for this year?
It's the game.
That's That's a real coach killer.
Yeah, it is.
And that's coming from the coach himself.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's tough.
It's
hard.
It's
hard for the players and their thought process. How do you handle that? How do you handle being knocked back and then I've got an opportunity elsewhere? No, we just need you.
I think, to be honest, that played a big part in why he had a shocker last week.
Yeah.
I've never seen him play that bad, and there had to be more because that's not in his game, But clearly, I mean, you'd lose all your confidence. He's wanted by 2 clubs or 1 club apparently.
Yeah.
And then his club who doesn't want him won't let him go, which is
Makes
nuts.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Because usually it's like you in contracts that you sign, you shut your mouth and you put up with it.
Yeah.
But in this instance, if the club's made it beyond very clear,
it's very
we
clear
don't want it.
Yeah, it's not.
Why are you wasting your time? Yeah,
he's not playing for his contract anymore. He's
got no contract.
Yeah.
So he can come and take. He could pull a Jared Haynes 2009 or go over 2012 and take the Saints to a massive run.
But the Saints
and get him.
know.
You know what?
They know he's a good player. So why would they give him to the Raiders? That's all it is.
Yeah, it's stupid. Next game, Storm 66 defeating the Tigers 16. Okay, just for the life of me.
Oh man, that first set.
Yeah. How is this an NRL side?
I don't know.
How is what the Tigers named an NRL side? Because I look at that and I think to myself, why? Why do you dish out something like this?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I honestly just don't understand how you get, like, here's the thing, right? The Broncos might get pumped 20 minutes onwards, but I haven't seen them cop it from the first minute and just throughout. They show a little bit of resilience. And the Tigers usually show a lot more resilience than the Broncos, right? What I didn't understand is how they let the Storm throw the ball around. There was like 5 offloads or 6 offloads in that first set alone.
Yeah.
They ran 90 metres, scored. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a team get dominated that quickly. Everything went against them. Everything went for the Storm. And they're just a machine. They're just freaks, man.
Yeah, the Storm, they are just something else. And you come back to the point of Bellamy is a freak of nature.
He is.
And the systems he's got there is unreal. But in this performance alone, do you know when you play, like, I saw a meme, like it's like Rugby League Live 4, adjust settings, But you look at it because, like for me, when I used to play that game, I used to get really tongue out of dogs and just run around the whole field and score.
Yeah.
Honestly, you talk about, like, that would have never happened in an NRL game. These are professional athletes. That couldn't happen. That's what happened.
Yep.
But this is the part. So usually what happens is, like I've mentioned before in my podcast, where, you get Tigers, for example, they get to like a 40-0 lead, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens is they come to start the second half, they might score 1 try in that second half, and that's it. Storm were up 40-0 half-time. Then they scored 3 tries in 10 minutes. And then, all right.
That was the coach killer. I think the fact that he went off at him and said, you've created this to the players, get yourselves out of it, and then they got 3 tries straight away in those 10 minutes after the half time. Man, and I like Maguire, but I feel pretty bad for him.
No, and all these people, which I will get to a bit later when we talk about the Tigers. I like Maguire.
Yeah.
I love what he's trying to do.
Yep.
It doesn't have the players for it. But with the circumstances as they are now, with the players that you have, like, you've got the Tigers juniors that are killing it.
Yeah.
They're actually going really well. They're sitting second, I think, behind the Panthers. Again, flawless. But they've got some great talent in there. I would be throwing these kids in there. Because at this rate, Tigers aren't going to do anything this year. They ain't going to make the finals. At this stage, they won't get close to 9th. They're sitting 14th.
I know.
I would be tracking up these kids from now.
Yep.
Get them bit of experience now. Let them cop a couple of heartbreaks now, because next year they'll be better for it.
As long as they don't have too many, because then they become scarred, like the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want you to. Yeah, you don't want to be blooding like you've got.
Yeah.
You don't want to blood about 9-10 kids and put them through. No, but get about 3 or 4.
Exactly. And
get them that feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, get them that feel, and then the next year you bring up a couple more, and you mix it with what you've got.
Correct. Yeah.
It was hard to watch.
I look at that team on paper. I don't think it's that bad. But at the same time, they're like the Broncos. There's a lot of individual talent there, but they don't put in for each other, which is nuts. Like, that was collectively, everyone was poor.
Yeah.
Like, Brandon Smith should not be able to run from dummy half in the 2nd minute and score from dummy half through the forwards. Like, that's ridiculous.
And the ridiculous part on that, Nelson Solomona
from dummy half
on 5th tackle. This is what I expect.
That took the cake. Yeah.
This is what I expect from the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
We need something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at this and I just think to myself, why?
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand. How can you cop that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
How you can sit there and cop that, and the coach comes down at half time, they don't say a word. It's all silence, and then the players start trying to talk amongst themselves. But James Palmer at the end of the game said there's a bit of player unrest. There's a couple of underlying issues. Well, clearly.
Yeah.
But surely this can be addressed. Like, you know what? With this week off, this standalone Origin weekend, right?
Yeah.
If I was the players, I wouldn't be taking that week off.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No chance. I would be trying to...
We all know they will.
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah.
They get paid the big bucks, but they do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Because they don't care.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They don't care.
Yeah.
With the players they got, they don't care. It's just how it is. They don't give a damn for what's there.
Yeah.
They just take their big paychecks and they just go and have their coffees and then have their laughs and it's
that attitude.
another day in the office. It's pathetic. Look, but Melbourne, like far out, you know, so good. You can't.
They're still my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
take them above the Panthers, only because of what I saw in terms of their depth.
Yeah.
You know, when Panthers lost a few players for Origin, they lost 2 in a row. Whereas when the Storm lost like 6 or 7 players, we played matches without Pappenhausen, Munster, or Hughes and Grant, and they still won the matches.
Okay, you know those 4 players you mentioned are the spine.
Yeah.
And you take out a spine, like Broncos have had chops and changes with their spines, just with us, the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And we fall. And you think as standard, the clubs are going to fall, there's no consistency, there's no rhythm.
Yep.
But Melbourne, anyone they put in, it's just... You just got to sit there and admire. You can't be like, oh, I hate Storm because, it's Melbourne. No, you got to admire. You got to look at it and use your brain a little bit.
It's unbelievable.
And you got to realise, man, they're just flying at the moment.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Now, the next game, it was 36 defeating the Dogs 10. Listen, I don't think, personally, the scoreboard doesn't justify that performance for me.
Yeah, look, I didn't watch the second half, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I thought, I watched the first half and I thought, wow, the Dogs look good. Eels didn't look too great, but I thought the Dogs played very well. I don't know what happened in the second half.
Mate, unreal first half. I got to give it to him. We conceded that try, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a thrashing. I actually made a bet with my brother-in-law and my mate Jordan, who I went to the game with, and they go, because of the way they saw the Storm punish the Tigers, they go, if the Eels punish the Dogs in the first half 30-0, you have to get your face painted. When they score that first try, I go, I'm just going to get my face painted now. You know what I mean? I get my face painted now. I'll get the blue, half gold on my face, and I'll just sit there and just that's what I've got to expect.
Yeah.
But they turned it around, and I sat there and I go, this is phenomenal. Like, their kicking game, for the first half for the Dogs, was one of the best I've seen all year.
Yep.
Targeted the corners, applied pressure. When he got to last, it wasn't the stupid, pathetic high kicks.
They
did one, it didn't work.
Yeah.
All right, they reverted straight back to getting a repeat set.
Yeah.
And it worked. And we started to see the fruit of that. But again, it took something so dumb in the second half. And again, they don't have that morale, they don't have that experience around them to kind of look and say, they just crumble, mate. And look, Eagles fans are happy and look at us, we won. Really? You're going to be happy after that? Your first half was garbage for a top 4 side. It's amazing how in the top 4 there's such a divide.
For me, I think there's a divide even, but for me it's obviously Panthers and Storm, and then for me you've got Rabbits. Even though on the ladder, I don't think they're third. I think the Rabbits are fourth. But for me, I just see a massive divide even between the Rabbits and Para. I just see Para as no hope at all to put a dent in the semis. Yeah. I think they'll probably be going straight sets again.
Yeah, I think the way it's looking, they will. And, you speak to some fans and they're really happy and they're wrapped. And these are fans that not just like your typical, they're the people that know the footy and they're happy.
Yeah,
what a second half, look at us. And, all right, it was a solid second half. But, I just waited for the Bulldogs because I knew it's just embedded in them.
I know.
They're going to do something dumb.
That's the sad thing, though. With these lower teams, you can see glimpses of good, and then just it takes 5 minutes of poor footy to just rule out an entire half. Yeah. They're done.
Yeah, it undoes it all. And you look, and I'm watching this game, that first half, we hit 10-6, and I sat there and I go, all right, didn't get ahead of myself, because I just knew, we're going to do something dumb, it's going to turn the game. We missed the conversion from the sideline, and mate, let me tell you, I saw it, and I go, we're going to lose, just for missing the conversion. Because we know the type of team that Parramatta are when they click.
Yeah.
And you can't rule them out when they're when you're down. It took the dumbest pass. Who passes into Napa on last, comes off his shoulder, and the Wakeham comes and tackles the block. You know what I mean?
I wish I saw it.
But I promise it was a circus. I just sat there and I go, what the hell? Ref made the right call, penalty try. You can't ignore that. It's cool. And then after that, it just... A couple of calls didn't go the Dogs' way, but that's not an excuse. We got to their line in the second half at one point. And all right, if we put the kick in and we get a repeat set, we can turn the tide. We dropped it.
Yeah.
And that was... I feel like that was one of the only few sets we had in the second half. And I go, that's it. And then in that next set, Sean Lane goes and splits us open.
It's nuts.
And that's when I knew, I go, okay, we're done from here. We are done from here.
You guys need some new forwards and a good hooker and
so much.
Yeah.
So much we need. But look, the Eels 36-10, again, the scoreline doesn't justify because the first half was actually fantastic from us. And when we let it sink, bro. And dumb reads in defense. We just go back to complacency. We just go back to the stupid basic mistakes that you don't make in under 8s.
Yep.
And we display that in first grade. And it's frustrating because you look at a bit of hope, like you said, you get that bit of hope, you get excited, then it goes away from you.
Yeah.
Last game of the round. This was
the most unbelievable thing I've seen in rugby league.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Seagulls 56, Titans 24. Titans come out the blocks 24-8. I'm thinking, all right, well the way they've contained Turbo so far is looking pretty good. What happened that second half?
Well, they didn't make any errors. So their completion rate was like 90-95%. Their completion rate was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They made no errors, but they just didn't get the ball. The second... I mean, they let in... We all know that they can let in an easy try or two, and they let in 2 very quickly in the first 10 minutes of that second half. And then from there, game over. Like, I don't think they got the ball in that second half. I can't remember many sets at all, maybe a couple.
Yeah.
They just got completely dominated. It was unbelievable. I've seen Hayne dominate. I've seen Thurston dominate. I've seen Barber dominate. You know, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone as dominant as Tommy Turbo right now, ever.
Yeah, bro.
I can't, and I don't know what it is. I can't see it. I don't see ridiculous, stepping. I don't see ridiculous ball play. But it's the timing. He makes everything he just does everything in his own time. He just controls it all.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's got this thing about him where the way he just flows in the game and the way he just roams around, it's just, you look at it and think, this is like a 300 gamer playing. That's
the thing. But what's crazy is when Lockyer was fullback, it was pretty similar. It wasn't this ridiculous speed. It was just gliding in and out, and it was just, he'd attract these players and then, you know, either go through himself or do the same thing. What Turbo's doing, he's doing cutout passes, he's doing kicks, he's doing everything. He's got everything. Yeah, he's the whole package of the football player. I've never seen a player dominate like this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, Titans obviously coming out strong in that first half. You know, last week they just dropped the ball, and so they thought, you know what, we'll come out with a tough start and we'll try to control it. They're coming out 24-8.
Yeah,
Dwarvich's like, you know, we're containing pretty well, and then. Like, you just, some of the tries you watch, and you just think, what is going on here? Ruben Garrick's having some of the best games of his career by far.
Yeah, he is. But he was untouched in a couple of, just...
He scored 4 tries, was untouched for 3.
Yeah, exactly. Untouched completely. So, I don't know, man. These Titans, I think that's what happens when you spend too much money on forwards without experience. That's the thing. Those players are good players.
Yeah, great players.
But just lacking a lot of experience in that team.
And the Titans have a good forward pack. Like, this is the thing. This is a team that shouldn't be sitting 13th.
Yeah, fact is they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. At the end of the day, you know, the side that they've got, they've got a couple of rookie backs. We've got AJ Brimson at fullback.
Yeah.
You know, he's electric. You know, Jaden Campbell's been playing Preston's son.
Freak.
Yeah.
Love
Another great talent that's been unearthed and shown to us. Their halves are an issue. I think Ash Taylor's inconsistency of not being in the side as often. I think he'll go at the end of the year.
I think he'll be gone. I was saying on the weekend, I don't see what Ash Taylor provides that Tanner Boyd can't provide for 150 grand a year. You know, so it's a big salary for no reason. But I don't know what they need. I just can't pick it. I think they just need some more experience in the forwards and probably an experienced 5'8".
Yeah.
To be honest, I think Sean Johnson would have been perfect for them, but they haven't gone for him. I think Brandon Smith would have been perfect for him at hooker. I don't think they've gone for him either. So it's the Titans are another one.
Yeah,
but they could just switch on. There's 9 games to go this year.
Yeah,
they could switch on and win. 7 of the 8, like they did last year.
Yeah, they can, and that's the thing. Like they can, but just from what you're seeing at the moment, what we're watching is we're not seeing that.
No.
There's a player who we're going to get into a little bit later, Cody Nikorima, who's looking to opt out of his contract and stay in Brisbane. I'd be seriously considering him if the Titans come. If the Titans were going to come out and consider Milford for crying out loud for 600 or for 400 grand, you want to look at someone like Nikorima, who I actually thought would never improve his game, has actually stepped up at the Warriors.
I love him. Yeah.
So he's someone
at the time when Milford wasn't playing the best for us back then, and Nikorima probably wasn't playing the best back then for the Broncos, I still thought we should have kept Nikorima over over Milford.
Mm.
His versatility, he's just...
What he offers is good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, puts in.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that, yeah.
That's all we can discuss for round 15. I want to put you on the hot seat here for a second. We're going to talk about the Brisbane Broncos. And I want to talk about... give this a bit of depth. Because I know this is... Obviously, you've been going for your whole life.
Yeah.
You probably know a lot more than most of our listeners do. And even probably more than what I know. I'm just a fan looking outside in, yeah? And I've heard this whole player revolt thing coming about and all this stuff. My personal opinion, I think is garbage.
Yeah.
That there are players who are sitting here saying, "Oh, we're not happy with the coach." Mate, you weren't happy with Seabold.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
But you can't bring in someone like Walters and like for his experience, he doesn't have that experience as a head coach. I'll give him that. I understand.
Mm.
And communication that can always be better. But you can't sit and say we want to play revolt, we want him out.
Yeah.
Is it really like are the players? They're not playing to a stage at the moment where they can make some big calls. Because right now, I feel like they're just being spoon-fed. Can you give me like your look in and what your take is? Because that's just what I can see.
I think that the player revolt that we're hearing about, firstly, I don't think it's as bad as what the media is making it out to be.
Mm.
At the end of the day, you've got to remember the major stakeholder of the Brisbane Broncos is Fox News. Mm. So they own, the Murdochs. They own massive shares in the Broncos. They own the Broncos. So what you got to think about is, if something's not going good for the Broncos, they can use that as a headline and still make money on their end. Because they know that we'll click on it anyway. But I don't think the player revolt is that bad. I think that there's players in that team that have been tapped on the shoulder, that are having a bit of a whinge and are obviously unhappy. I don't think Kevy's lost the dressing room, to be honest. I know they've been thumped over the last few weeks. But at the same time, Kevy had to wait till round 11 to get a Queensland Cup team pretty much in, because he was sick of the garbage that the first graders were putting in. You look at half that team, that whole bench is a Queensland Cup bench. Half the forward pack is Queensland Cup. Half the backs are Queensland Cup. Both halves are Queensland Cup players. I mean, they're not all in the top 30 squad. And he's going to blood more. And that's the thing. So someone had to do it. Someone had to risk and really see who's going to put in for the Broncos and who isn't. And it's very clear who is and who isn't now. And at the end of the day, I don't think there's a massive player revolt. I think that people are just whinging because they've been tapped on the shoulder. And from what I know, there's at least 12 players going.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
It's a big number.
It's huge.
Some of those players, you look at... So we know that TPJ has been tapped on the shoulder. We know that Matt Lodge has been tapped on the shoulder.
Yeah.
We're hearing, different players like Corey Oates, who hasn't played much first grade this year. He's still got another year left on his contract. But a lot of the reasons that these big players are being tapped on the shoulder is because of their salaries.
Yeah. It's not... I don't think it's anything to do with their ability. I think it plays a little part. But the fact is, Matt Lodge has put in 2 amazing games this year. I'll give him that. He had a great game against the Panthers, and I think a couple of weeks ago he was great too. But the fact is, he'll still let in 2 tries a game in that middle, or 3 tries a game in that middle. TPJ is the same. TPJ, I think, has been a bit more consistent than Matt Lodge.
Yep.
Matt Lodge has been solid for 25 to 30 minutes a game. After that, he gets pretty poor, he gets sloppy, gives away a lot of penalties, 6 agains. So you can't go for that $600,000 a year that Lodge is on, or even more, and play like a $200,000 player. Like I've spoken about before. At the end of the day, they need balance. Dave Donaghy, I think, is the right man for the job in terms of the CEO position. Ben Ikin, I think, is good. I'm still skeptical a little bit, only because of the fact that on NRL 360 last week he said that Kevy should have played Milford and Dearden as his halves for their entire year, regardless if they played good or not. And I think that was pretty shocking, for considering those 2 played in our team last year and we came last. So I do get a bit worried. My only thing with that is I just don't want him to get involved in the coaching side, or in the lineup. I mean, in terms of development and things like that, who to keep, who to pay certain amounts to, yeah, for sure. I think it'll be good. But
Yeah.
there's mate, there's a lot happening. I don't think Kevy's a bad coach. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's learning on the run now.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, he's been handed the worst team. Like, I still don't think the Broncos lineup or squad is as bad as the Doggies squad. But individually on talent, that is. But people got to remember, David Fafita's gone, Offhand Gowie's gone, Jack Bird's gone, McCulloch's gone. You know, there's a lot of players gone. Tony Staggs hasn't played a single game this year, and we're at around 16.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of players that weren't there last year too. That were there last year that aren't playing this year, and I think the Broncos will do a lot better in the second half of this year, to be honest, when they'll see some stability in the boardroom and in the higher up.
And I agree with you there. Yeah, I think, talking on Ben Eichen, he's very, because of the role he had to play on 360, where he had to be as straightforward as he had to be,
Yeah.
You're right. He said something like about keeping Milford and Dino as the halves all year. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I'd go and probably dish out 8-9 halves combinations, because that doesn't work as well. But at the same time, I wouldn't be playing Milford and Dearden week in, week out.
Yeah.
Without pause, they're going. You, as you said, you can only look to last year to see they got the salary cap. They got the salary cap. They came last year. They got the wooden spoon. And they just, and as I said, Walters, you're right. He's walked into a club where he needs to start fresh.
Yeah.
The only way he's going to start fresh is by getting rid of this, clearing out.
Yeah. They're mentally scarred. Like I said earlier this year, the Broncos need to get rid of every player that played under Seabold and every player that played under Bennett. I think Seabold lost the dressing room before he walked in because the players never wanted Bennett to leave. So I think he was against it from the get-go. I don't rate him as a coach, but at the same time, now Walters has his chance to clear out, and I think he will. And I think there's some good players around that aren't getting a run at certain clubs like the at the Raiders. There's some good forwards in that team that could help for a lot less than what Lodge and what TPJ put in.
Yeah.
For probably half the price as well.
I agree. Looking at the side, like you said on paper, it's not a terrible side. And you're right, they could benefit from, shopping and looking at different players, such as like the Raiders, who have a stacked forward pack. And even some of the kids coming through from the Titans have some really good forwards as well. My problem, just with the club, you're right. And I love what you said there about the dressing room, how they lost the dressing room prior to Seymour walking, because I think they had this sort of expectation. And on that, TPJ, Wayne Bennett at the press conference of the Brisbane game, he goes, I brought TPJ to Brisbane to play under me, and he got robbed of that opportunity.
Yep.
And, it's hard to take, but, that's just the state of affairs at the moment.
It shows that Bennett's still sort of hurting about that as well, though. I thought he was,
He's still hurting, mate.
Yeah, I think he is.
This is a club that he spent so many years, won grand finals, took 2015 to go to grand final as well. There's so much love from Bennett to Brisbane.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this question. Ben Hunt comes in now head of football.
Ben Eichen.
Sorry, Ben Eichen, who did I say?
Ben Hunt.
Okay, obviously not. My bad. My bad.
I mean, I'll take him at halfback. I'll fly back with Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, my bad. Coughed that one up big time. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Ben Eichen, right, comes in as head of football. Now, there's always been this little murmur that they want to get Wayne Bennett back and all this stuff. Do you think if there was an opportunity for Bennett to come back, regardless with Eichen being there, do you reckon they can, obviously what they've got and their differences and obviously with their family issues, do you reckon would they be able to be put that aside and work together if Bennett was to come back to Brisbane?
Yes.
But would Bennett come back as a coach? He'd have to come back as a coach because I can't see him doing like a Ben Eichen role.
The crazy thing is, I think that Walters loves the team and the Broncos that much that he would. I honestly think he'd play second fiddle to Bennett. He wouldn't care because he just wants the Broncos to win and be great again. At the end of the day, I can't see Bennett coming back as much as I love him and I want him to. And I know deep down he loves the Broncos. I can't see him coming back unless the entire board gets sacked, which they won't because they've just been reinstated. So,
how do you reinstate that board?
News Limited does that, and unfortunately, it's not the players or
of course
or the football staff. So yeah, it's all about the bucks for them, and that's why Lockie is there. Really, he's just a sponsorship handshaker.
Yeah, for
more
sure.
than anything.
Yeah. Last question on the Broncos. Kevin Walters came out today and said that he's under the belief that the Rabbitohs, what's wrong with me? That the Brisbane Broncos can win the premiership in the next 3 years. Now, if you look at some of the signings that they've signed for next year, the biggest one, Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, that's the only worthy one of mentioning.
Yeah, well, they're picking up like kids along the way. Like they're picking up Brent Lee and Jordan Pereira and things like that. Yeah, they're not really game breakers. Yeah. But for me, when I think of Adam Reynolds, I think of a side that goes from the bottom straight to top 8.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think there's been some close matches earlier this year, especially that we would have won under him. And I think that mentally it would have put them in a lot better headspace when it comes to, being 6 points down against a good team later on in the year. Instead of copying another 40, I think they would have had the belief to win. With Reynolds there only, I think that I actually don't think we're going to make too many big name signings for next year. I think we're going to wait for the year after because if you look at who's available, there's not much. But if you go back to 2016 or go 2015, the Roosters made the top 4, made the final 4, lost in the semis against the Broncos. The year after, they came second last. 2 years later, they won the premiership. So I'm not saying the Broncos can, and I don't think they will. But at the end of the day, people talk about us losing all these youngsters. The fact is, Sam Walker and Reece Walsh have come out of our system in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 years, so clearly there's a good squad or good group of young kids coming up in Queensland at the moment. So I see why I can't see why we can't pick, can't get one out of nowhere. But at the same time, there's a lot of changes that need to be made.
Yeah.
And a good winning mentality. And I think the only reason Bennett would be beneficial is because if we don't get him, he'll be at another Brisbane club for the year after, and all those good players off contract for next year, they'll all go to him.
Yeah. And I think all the players now that come off contract are all going to sign 1 year deals, or the majority.
Yeah, so many are.
Yeah, so many are because that second that new team comes on board, and the second they hear Wayne Bennett and he signs as coach.
Yep.
Oh man, it's a party. Give me 10 million of that salary cap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that's the thing. With signing Adam Reynolds does come with bringing players along with him. Now you guys have been linked to Kurt Capewell, Jaden Sewer, Dane Gagai.
Yeah.
Sewer, I feel like at the moment the only option he's got is Broncos.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see if Reynolds could bring some players? Like, try and be as realistic as possible. Who do you think he could bring with him that would be dynamite for you guys?
I think, as in from the Rabbits or just in general?
I think in general. But like the Rabbits, you've got your Gagai and your
I would like Gagai there, and I think Sewer would be good, but Sewer I don't think will provide too much of what we don't have. He'll provide a little bit better quality and more consistency. But someone like Capewell, who's an 80-minute player, is a definite for me. I still think we need a strike fullback, even though I want Katoni Staggs there. I don't think he will play fullback.
So six.
I think So I think we need a good attacking fullback. It's a tough one. I mean, Duffy's value has dropped a lot now. So he's one. Cody Nikorima is another one. He's the type of player that would always thrive with a controlling halfback like Adam Reynolds there.
That's interesting, actually.
And I do think we need a hooker. But at the same time, I do think we need a couple of solid forwards, some hard nuts like Corey Horsburgh. I think we'd get him cheap. Yeah. Hudson Young is another good player who's not getting the minutes that he might get. Tarpanay is apparently been on the outer there. There's some gun players. I'd like to steal a few of those Raiders.
Yeah, for sure.
While they're on the outer, but yeah, there's a way to go. But there are some players available. But yeah, Dale Finucane, number one.
Wow, yeah, for sure. On Dale Finucane, the other club I wanted to talk about, and this will be the last club we discuss.
Yeah,
we've got to talk about the West Tigers. Now, this for me is absolutely mind-boggling some of the performance that they've dished out.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's like, oh, get rid of Maguire. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. You know, I don't think it's Maguire's fault. I think this is the one time where it's not the coach's fault. I think Maguire is trying to come in and bring a set culture into the side and into the club that they've been missing for a very, very long time. I think the people that need to go would be Justin Pascoe, the CEO.
Yeah.
I think he has been
given nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing he does that's good is anytime they sign a new guy, on behalf of the club, I'd like to welcome this guy on.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you, champ, but that's not going to get you to do anything else.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Like, I think he's just useless. I think they need to change the CEO. I like the addition of Tim Sheens, you know, for that off-field role to kind of help Maguire. Yeah, they're two tough personalities, but Tim Sheens has been in England for the last 10, 15 years, absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Took some clubs to some premierships there, got a bit of success. The Tigers don't want to buy into what Maguire's trying to do. And you can clearly see that. Joey Leilua, very lazy. Moses Mbai, not really offering anything.
Yeah.
He's sitting on a fat wage.
He's off contract this year? Or he's got another year to go?
He's got another year. So he's been shopped to Cowboys and Broncos and Titans and all that. Nah, no one will take him. No way. No one will take him. But these are the players that they've got.
Wage, they won't take him.
No, they won't. That's the crazy part. Like, and there's just so many. They've got so many good players. Like, you know, I'm going to be very biased. Adam Dwayne.
Yeah, I think
I love Alex Twal.
He puts in, yeah.
You know, I love Luchi Leilua.
Yeah.
I love what he's been bringing. Defensively, has obviously on the weekend was absolutely shockers. But the problem is the players want an easy way out. They don't want to buy into what Maguire's trying to do. They don't like when someone comes in and is tough on them because it all hurts their feelings.
They need some hard nuts in there, man. They need some hard heads, some good old school footy players.
Yeah,
I think that's what they need. I don't see Luke Brooks as big an issue as what a lot of people think. And I think they've won a couple of games. The only reason they've won a few games this year is because they still have attack. They still have attacking weapons. Brooks can still attack. Laurie can still attack.
Yeah.
The way you can still attack. You know,
Laurie's been quite defined as well.
Yeah, he's a gun.
Yeah, but things like, you know, we'll talk about Ndwaihi for a second. The guy shouldn't be mucked around in terms of positions.
Yeah.
He played a bit of fullback, then it's fun to be 5'8". Then they're talking about a 5'8", they put him in the centres. I mean, surely there's no way in my side, that Adam Dwaihi is not at number 6 and Mbai is. There's absolutely no way. And the performances that Dwaihi was playing at 6 was fantastic.
They were dominant. They were completely dominant.
Very good. Very, very good. And I don't understand, like, they need that experience. They need some people to come in and really shake up that club because of what they got is woeful. Yeah. You know, some of the kids coming through, like they got Tommy Talau, who's got a bit of potential, hasn't really been his best.
Yeah.
Dave Norfoluma needs to step up a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's had last year he was so good. You know, he came out of breakout year.
I don't know what's happened this year.
He's dipped in form.
Like when Space Jam, when they just lost their talent.
They've got to drink that magic potion to get it back up again.
I just don't understand.
He
was unbelievable last year. He was in the cup of making that New South Wales thing. He was doing what Brian Totler was doing this year.
Yeah, you're right. He was on the cusp, and now he's dropped off hard. James Roberts hasn't been anything special. But these are the quality of players that they want to attract. Then you want to come out, right? And you want to come out and sign TPJ.
Yeah. I said it weeks ago. He's not the type of player they need.
Exactly, and I'm not
Luciano Leilua.
I'm not against TPJ. Yeah. In fact, I like what he brings to the side. I love his aggression. I love his offloads. I love what he tries to bring to bring some sort of attack in. But that's not what the Tigers need. They need hard nuts in defence. Because right now, they got rid of Benji Marshall for his defence. All right, and maybe for the fact that he's 35 years old.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Not that I'm saying he's the greatest defender. He's got very good. He's got very at times big defensive lapses. Yeah, for sure.
He does. Yeah.
But if you want to go in a direction of cracking on in defence, but look, at times, Offhand Gow is very lazy in defence as well.
Oh, he is.
Very lazy in defence. You know, there was a game where I think it was in Golden Point, or it was heading towards Golden Point.
Yeah.
Can't remember who the opposition was, but maybe it could be the Roosters or somewhere where they just ran straight through off Offhand and he just barely reached.
Yeah.
Maguire doesn't coach that.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, correct.
I don't think he coaches that. If I come in, I'm the type of guy that if I want to walk in something, I want to take control and rip it out and do it how I want, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But you got to keep your kids, like, you got to keep your Lauries around.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. You got to keep Dwaihi.
Talent there. I think the thing is, when you look at the way why he got moved, he was playing so dominant that it sort of moved kept Luke Brooks out of the game a little bit. Brooks went into his shell a little bit. Same thing happened with Benji last year with Brooks. So maybe Brooks is an issue, or they just haven't found the right partner for him. But Dwayne I think he's a good 5'8".
Yeah, it's outstanding.
He was fantastic when he played there.
It was really good. And I think if you're gonna not want to if it comes to a point where Brooks isn't performing, you're chucking a Jock Madden, who's young, who's played a bit of first grade, who can come in, shake it up a bit,
Yeah.
I would be doing that now. This is what I mean. I'd be doing that now, considering that they're 14th.
Yeah.
Which is extremely disappointing. They're sitting at 14th at the moment.
Yeah.
And defensively, they are worse than the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
That's crazy, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Now, with the Tigers, with the side that, they've got Jackson Hastings coming on next year. But I'll be starting to tinker, starting to bring a couple of players that, that can shake up and like with the Broncos, give that little bit of experience.
Yep.
I don't think the answer is sacking Maguire. I think that goes against what they're trying to do as a club.
I think they do that. They start all over again.
Yeah, and Maguire's trying to... And to be fair, Maguire hasn't started.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Again, dealt with previous management. He got dealt with a club that was on the low and dealt with so many players on side. Like, Russell Packer is still on contract.
Yeah.
Ridiculous money.
He's done this year.
Yeah. And Bayer has to get moved on. Reynolds got moved on last year.
Yeah.
Some big... They can start going for big players. I will blame Maguire if they're going to sign TPJ. That's when I feel okay, not a signing the year again.
It's not, but at the same time, then he could fall on his own sword rather than Ivan Cleary's sword of poor recruitment over the last few years, So I think Ivan Cleary left him with a very, very poor team.
Yeah. I think he left whoever came in for that job with a poor team.
Yeah, exactly.
It was absolutely anyone.
I like Madge, though.
I love Madge.
Yeah, I think that it's a tough one, eh? When you look around at what's available, there's just not that many quality players in rugby league available.
Yeah.
And they're all coming from bottom 8 teams, really. Like, there's not many from the top teams that need to leave or want to leave.
They have a good start there if they sign Dale Finucane.
Yeah.
That's a player you want. If you're going to attract some money and you want to get someone in, you bring... Dale Finucane is the first person you've got to be talking
100%.
to. You have to.
That's the type of player they need.
You got to bring in players that are off contract from a winning culture.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. You can't look outside. You can't look at Brisbane and say, he's very talented. He's not a 21-year-old kid.
Yeah.
TPJ's 25. Coming from a side that's been sitting at the bottom for the last 2 years.
Correct. I think it's... So Capewell's off contract.
Yeah.
And you've got Finucane off contract. They're two players from the best two teams. Why wouldn't you try to sign them?
What are you doing everything you can
I'd be trying
to bring them in?
Yeah, 100%.
You look Garner, you can replace him with I forgot his name, can't believe it. You can just mention Capewell.
Yeah.
Has had a mind blank there. Yeah. You can replace a guy like Garner with Capewell there. You've got kids coming through. Like, I like who they've got coming through. Sean Bloor, Stefano Tuatamanu,
sure.
Who's been signed on from Para.
They're all hit and miss.
Yeah.
All those players
That's all it is. Yeah. And I don't think the Tigers at the moment want to work hard.
They don't.
With the current crop they got, they don't want to work hard. Jackson Hastings comes in next year. They get Oliver Gildart, again, another back. They signed 15 backs, for crying out loud. I like the sign of Ken Mamalo. I like what they're trying to do with Mamalo.
Yeah, I love Mamalo.
I like it. Gildart, not proven.
Yeah. Gildart, you just never know. But I don't think it's backs they need. I think they can score points. I don't think the attacking side is a problem.
It's the defence.
It's the defence.
It's being found out in defence. Mbai is one of the worst defenders.
It's awful, man.
It's garbage.
I can't see what you can do with Mbai, to be honest.
Storm vs Tigers on the weekend was just a training one.
Like, look at their attack. 308 points. They've put on a lot in attack. I mean, they'd be top 8 in attack. Yeah, they are. Yeah,
top 8 in attack.
Yeah,
they come second to Titans, but they're still in the top.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, it's that defence.
Yeah,
and that's what happens when you have a bunch of forwards that want to play for 15, 20 minutes rather than the whole 40 minutes that each forward is on there for.
Yeah, for sure.
Props are just.
And we've seen in the past what a Maguire team looks like.
Oh yeah,
we've seen where he builds a team and he gets it to where he wants it, and then delivers.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, they need to bring. If they bring someone like a Finucane, I reckon he can influence and bring players to that club. That's what you need. Cause that's what you need.
He can. I don't think they'll get him.
No, I don't think they'll get him.
I don't think he'll leave.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. I think those are the two things I really wanted to kind of touch on with Broncos and the Tigers, just with how they're going both off field and on field. That was very good. I love that.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
cracker.
awesome, man.
That was really good. Good stuff. News around the NRL world. Tyro Peachy yet to hear from Titans on a new deal. He's basically shopping himself around.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. And I feel like for Peachy, this is kind of the only year that he's really stepped up.
Yeah, I don't
Contract
understand why. Yeah, of course, contract.
You know how it is?
Just put him in a 1 year contract every year.
Exactly. I know, he'll be killing it. Dragons allow Widdop to sign another NRL club. So I think the deal was if Widdop was to come back to the NRL, he'll go straight to Saints. Saints go, mate, you can go. They don't need him.
I hope he plays a little bit better than what he's been playing in the Super League. He just hasn't been great at all.
Yeah, I think the last 2-3 weeks, he's 2 weeks ago scored a hat trick. Last week scored a double.
Yeah,
Like starting to do some things. Yeah, starting to get it back, which is really good.
That's good.
Brandon Trindle re-signs till 2023. I think it's a great coup for the Sharks. I think it's a great re-signing. Yeah, love him. Love what he brings.
Yeah.
Cowboys have signed Latia Mossy Drake from the Dogs. Apparently, he's one of our kids coming through. Signed him immediately. Due to the backline of talent that we got coming through next year, we weren't able to keep him. So Dogs lost, Cowboys gain. Dale Finucane, we were talking about earlier, hearing he's going to reject some big money offers to stay out Storm.
Yeah.
To be fair, with Finucane, he was asking for $800K a year.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. We want Dale Finucane to come in. I don't want him for $1 million.
I can't think of a single forward right now who's worth that much.
Yeah.
Maybe Tamalola, but even him, he hasn't been playing that great.
Yeah, exactly. Jaden Sewell is a big chance to sign with Broncos. Rabbitohs can't fit him under the cap.
Yeah.
So Sewell, the only destination at the moment is looking like is Brisbane.
Yeah.
Blake Ferguson linked to Western Force and Super Rugby.
I don't think he's that bad that no NRL clubs are going for him.
I don't think I think that it should be Wonga Blake that should be dropped.
Yeah,
instead of Blake Ferguson.
I don't think he's.
He's been playing very well this year.
I take him. Yeah, to be honest, I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
Players like that. When there's so many struggling teams out there that, obviously aren't doing very well, and there's players like that off contract, why wouldn't you sort of give them a crack?
Yeah, no, for sure. Bulldogs are set to sign Sean Johnson on a 2-year, $1 million deal. I like it.
Yep.
Let me tell you why I like it. There are a little people out there that will respond to things, not a great signing, not a good deal. Let me just tell you exactly why.
Yeah.
All right, he hasn't won a premiership, hasn't really led. I can't understand that. If you look at the halves we have now, they haven't played more than 30 games.
Yeah.
We're signing Matt Burden, who hasn't played more than 30, 40 games. Yeah. People need to remember that. Yeah. Burden's still very young in his career.
The experience will be great.
Experience is phenomenal. We missed out on Benji Marshall. We could have had Benji Marshall this year.
Yeah.
Just for that experience. We missed out on that.
100%.
Look, $1 million deal for 2 years.
Oh, that's nothing.
It's nothing. You know what? It's actually nothing.
For a guy that contributes as many tries as he does, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good value in my opinion.
At the start of the year, I came out and said Flanagan, with what he can bring, he can change it up. And that the thing was...
Too much pressure on him.
Too much pressure. He didn't have as good forwards as he did at Roosters and Sharks. Yeah. And that's a big one. If you're not going to be led. So that's we struggle. I love, if we get Sean Johnson, I'll be stoked. I'm not saying we get Sean Johnson, we win a comp. But we get Sean Johnson, we get a bit of experience to guide the younger kids. So when Flanagan is ready, it'll be a lot better for the experience.
For sure. Johnson's one of those players... What people don't realise is he played behind a beaten Warriors forward pack pretty much almost every week. Like, they were getting bashed very often, and he'd still play pretty good. And at the Sharks, I think he's playing some good footy now. I reckon he's got at least one good year left in him.
Yeah.
And that $500,000, you got to take that risk.
Yeah.
You guys have to take that risk.
We need to, bro, because there are no other halves that we're going to sign. And we need points.
Yeah.
We're struggling for points at the moment. Look, we've only scored 172 points all year.
Yeah.
It's really poor. Sean Johnson, what he brings into attack is fantastic.
He's such an attacking coach.
Yeah. Please don't start those. Oh, man. I hate the jokes, but you know what? You got to call it as it is.
Yeah.
Keegan Hipgrave extends his time with the Eels till 2022, which is more of a depth re-signing. Yeah. Like we discussed, Broncos shopping TVJ at other clubs. The only other club who will probably sign with is the Tigers. Yeah. Wrong move. We've just discussed that.
I think Roosters might come in with a...
I think they should.
Yeah. I think he'd be good there, to be honest.
He'd be great there. He's been wanting to go there for a while. Let's be serious. He's had his conversations with Nick Politis.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, he's mates with him.
Yeah, so, it just makes sense.
I can't see it not happening.
Warriors keen to bring in Gareth Woodruff and Matt Lodge before August 1. I think Warriors are that desperate for a half because they've lost Havers to Vita for the year.
I don't see what Lodge is going to add to that team.
They've already got a good forward pack.
I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I don't see what they see in.
Is it the director over there, Peter O'Sullivan?
Yeah,
it's his father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Yeah. That's probably the only thing that's really bringing him there.
For sure.
Does help. Cody Nicarima, like we discussed, wants to stay in Australia for personal reasons.
Yeah.
He wants to stay based in Queensland.
Yeah.
The only real, like we discussed, Titans would be the only one I'd be looking. If you're going to sign him, if you're not have faith in Tanner Boyd, which I think would be pretty silly if you wouldn't, but I'd get Cody Nicarima for sure. If I was Titans, I'd sign him anyway. I think as like utility. If you're going to get rid of Peachy and bring him as more of a utility, 100%. I think he's a great signing.
To be honest, I think Nicarima, even as a hooker, is better than what they have at the Titans right now.
Yeah, Aaron Clark is trained.
Yeah, and Clark's been pretty good.
Now, Peter Nolan and Andrew Kroll sacked as head of football and head of performance at the Bronx.
It's good. About time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I guess enough said on that.
Should have happened 3 years ago, but yeah.
Actually,
longer than that, but yeah.
Well, there you go. DWZ signs a 3.5-year deal with the Warriors effective immediately. Look, to just play strictly on the wing, it's a good signing.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We chucked him at fullback and then at centre, and then we really exposed how bad he was in those positions. But it still doesn't make sense as to why you get rid of Mamalo for DWZ. That doesn't make sense to me.
Here's my theory. My theory is Nicarima stays in Australia. Reece Walsh plays 5'8". DWZ fullback.
Ah.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to use DWZ as a backup fullback. So they'll play him on the wing.
Yeah.
But if they need to move Reece Walsh to 5'8", then I think he's a good enough fullback in a good team. If
the Warriors don't find the suitable,
if they don't find because they've got Chanel Tavita Harris, and then who else is going to be there?
Yeah, they've got no one else. So that's what they're trying to go after. Cade Cast. They're trying to go after.
I think he'd be good for them.
Yeah, he'd go alright with them.
Yeah.
It's fair. I mean, it's pretty fair to say, but I just love Reece Walsh at fullback.
Same.
Love it.
Same. The kid can play anyway.
Yeah, true. He can play anywhere and he can kill it. Like we discussed earlier, Ben Icon signing on head of football.
Yeah.
Sharks were linked today with Connor Watson. Not sure where you're playing. You got to remember as well, McInnes is coming next year. Yeah, and that was a John Morris signing.
Yeah.
He's meant to go there to play lock.
Yeah.
But Toby Rudolph has actually just blitzed it. So now where does that leave McInnes on the side? Because Bradley's playing at 9 pretty well. I like what he's offering Blake, what he's offering the Sharks. You can't put him at 13 because 13 at the moment Rudolph is killing it.
I think Rudolph can be moved to the front row and still play sort of roaming around in the middle anyway.
That could work.
Pretty similar. And then
that could work. Yeah.
McInnes will just play lock, but
who?
McInnes.
Oh, McInnes. I thought you said McInnes, and I went,
sorry?
My bad.
McInnes.
Bring it back.
He just wouldn't be very good at it now.
But throwback.
Play for the Broncos.
I know. I tried to... I thought I had you on that one. And
yeah.
I just embarrassed myself.
You know what? When we go back, I probably did say McInnes. It's close enough.
We'll take it, bro. We'll take it. And as desperate as Warriors are, they're linked to Chad Townsend for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
They're just desperate for a half.
Did you see, what's his name? Yeah, I didn't think O'Sullivan?
Sean O'Sullivan, I don't think he's really cut out for it. He was very poor on the weekend.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to...
I think any other halfback and they win that match.
Even Chad Townsend.
Yeah. I don't think he's that bad. Everyone gives him crap, but I think I think he's a solid halfback.
He just does the job. He's kind of like a forward that just is there for the 40-45 minutes, gets the job done, that's it. Like Isaac Liu. He just goes out there and plays the job, gets it done.
He knows how to win at the end of the day because he's won a premiership.
Yeah.
So when you need that bit of experience for a game to me, he's the same as Mitchell Pearce. A good club footballer. Yeah,
for sure. And the last bit of news, second last bit of news, Robert Jennings re-signs with Panthers next year for that depth. I don't think he's a terrible player. I think it's a good depth signing. News is just coming through from the judiciary. CSR Takiaho obviously being cleared, but the big one, Ravalawa, has been banned for 4 matches.
Yeah.
Looks like it didn't get overturned. What do you think?
I don't know. I think he can be easily replaced in that Dragons team, so I don't think it'll be.
But I think this is his 3rd or 4th shoulder charge.
Yeah, someo's got to teach him how to...
He's eating pretty...
I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, 4 weeks, surely.
NRL is the only sport where you see their own, just star players suspended so often and for so long and for such small reasons. To me, it takes away from watching the game. I don't think they realise that. Someone like TPJ for the tiniest crusher is copping 3 weeks. It's not. I don't even think it was a crusher, but because of his record,
it's
3
garbage.
weeks. Yeah. There's another good player who provides good attacking footy. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's shocking.
Now, with no footy being played this weekend due to the standalone state of origin, thank goodness that's done this year because they're moving back to Wednesdays next year. Yeah. All Wednesdays.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. There you go. Keeping it on Sundays was just dumb.
Yeah.
Wasted experiment, I believe. Yeah. Wasted experiment, I believe. Yeah. We're going to talk about the game coming up, state of origin. The Blues against the Maroons. Let's go through the side. Why don't you run us through that Queensland side?
Yeah. Reece Walsh at fullback, which I'm okay with. Then you got Holmes and Felt on the wings, Capewell and Gagai in the centres. Look, a lot of people have been bagging Capewell at centre. I don't think it's a bad thing. He didn't get it put on him at centre in the last game. It was by Turbo. Turbo went to the left side and did all his magic there, and he still scored a try on Turbo as well. So I don't think it's that bad. Then you got Munster and Cherry Evans. I think they'll be good.
Yeah.
The front rows is much better with Welsh and Papali. Yeah. Or Papali'i.
Papali'i, as they call him now. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
McCulloch at 9.
Yeah, McCulloch at 9. He'll be solid for the first 20 minutes. Then he won't play a single minute after that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fair.
Arrow, Kafusi, I think is good. Both in the second row, and then Tino at lock.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Arrow will play lock and Tino will actually play on the edge. Tino's played more edge footy than Arrow has.
Yeah.
So won't be surprised if that happens. Ben Hunt, I love him.
Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant hooker. I think it's perfect for Origin. If you look at game 1 last year, he broke the game open. A couple of really good runs and offloads. Brought Queensland back. Fotuaika speaks for himself. He's gunning it. A team that lost by 50.
Yeah, it's free.
It was fantastic. I was very surprised by him. I think it's good, but I think it was that good. David Fafita on the bench, I like. Coming on when players are under a bit of fatigue, I think that's when he'd be the most dangerous. And then Francis Molo. This guy, I like him. I think I don't think he'll play more than like 15 or 20 minutes though. I don't think he'll play long minutes.
Yeah.
But he's solid. I can't see what other choices they really had.
Yeah.
I can't bag the Reece Walsh selection.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. A lot of people bagging him out, saying it's too early in his career. I'm under the same impression, like I said, about many of the players come through. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
I think that's just how it's going to be now.
I think he is. I think he'll make a couple errors, but at the end of the day, I just think the game is so open these days that he can get away with it. Like, he can get away with playing Origin now.
Yeah.
At such a young age, with so much attack. I think he'll do well. I still think New South Wales has the better team, but just everything in the media and everything, I mean, we've seen this all before. Like, New South Wales get too cocky, all the media just, obviously that performance was something that I haven't seen before, but I can't see Queensland performing that bad ever again.
Yeah, no, I can't
especially not in this next game.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've lost Brimson. Grant is the biggest loss,
huge
in my
loss,
opinion.
Huge.
The rest, I was a bit surprised Jaden Sewell didn't make it. I thought he put some good hits on in defence. But yeah, it's a tough one. Like, everything on this lineup says Blues by a lot, but I just think Queensland will pull something out. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
With the Blues being named fullback to James Tedesco, the wings To'o Adokar, centres the Troll Turbo. Maybe the best backline I've ever seen in New South Wales.
Yeah.
By far.
I think it's got to be.
Halves.
Who was... When you think about it, back in the day, Minicello, Gasnier, Cooper, that was pretty good. I can't remember who the wingers were, but they were some good backs.
Great
Eddie
backs.
Johns at halfback.
Yeah.
Fittler at 5'8".
I
don't know,
It's tough by that back line.
That and this is close.
It's very close. You got the halves in Luai and Cleary. Matt, Luai played very well in Origin 1. And I love the photo of him over Kafusi. I love that.
Yeah, I think they'll use it against them though.
Yeah, I think, for sure.
I think he'll get bashed this game.
Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Forwards, Saifidi and Paulo moving into the starting side. Jake Jaboyevich is out due to a hip pointer injury. Yep. Cook at 9. And then you got Cam Murray, Tariq Sims, and Isaiah Yeo locking up the scrum there. In the bench, Jack Wyden, Angus Crichton come back into the side from suspension. Payne Haas off the bench again, and Liam Martin.
It's crazy. I think this team's better than game 1.
And the thing is, look, I'll be honest, man. I'll be honest. No one would have ever seen 50-6 coming in that game one.
Yeah.
But this is Queensland at Suncorp. Fiddler hasn't yet to win at Suncorp. To be honest, I don't really think that matters too much to me.
I don't think
that doesn't really matter. But what matters to me is we have to. It's here. We've got to win it now. Because if we don't win it now, we have a massive chance of actually losing it in Sydney. And I think your team, with the way Walsh has been playing, Gagai will bounce back for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You still look at the side,
There's
halves,
no
Munster will be better.
That bad. Yeah, Munster was a ghost in game one.
Exactly. Papali'i comes back in for Queensland, which is huge. Bro, look at the forward pack. Welch, Papali'i, Arrow, Kafusi, Fa'asumale, Albi, and McCulloch.
Yeah.
Oh, you change McCulloch, but it's still very good.
It's a good
power.
Defensive and it's good power as well,
It's 100% powerful.
I think
I love
the forwards that can keep up.
Yeah.
It's just the backs, man. Those backs are unbelievable.
Yeah. They really need to do a lot to contain To'o as well because To'o made another 200 odd metres,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's barnstorming. Look, I'm going to go Blues just because I think with the momentum taken from the first game, they can bring it into the second game.
Yeah.
I will call it by 10. I'm not going to go more than 10. I think even 10's too much. Personally, if I had to peak, I'll go Blues by 10.
I'm going to go Queensland by 4.
Yeah.
Huge upset.
I
think huge upset. I can see them bouncing back. I can see the Blues being a little bit too cocky. I mean, I think they're freakish, but I think they're still human at the end of the day. I mean, some of these players are due for a bad game. I think Tariq Sims occasionally puts in a shocker. So there's a few of those forwards that I think are capable of not having the best games, and I think Queensland can pounce. And the halves are still good for Queensland. Yeah. Yeah,
Munster's had a bit of a quieter year. I feel like Jerome Hughes has really controlled the Melbourne side. Yeah. But I think just what he brings to Origin, I think you just can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
One last question before we wrap it up. How do you stop Tom Trbojevic?
Oh.
Kind of put you on the spot here, but I just thought I had to get it out.
You have to probably do a high tackle in the first minute. That's the only thing I can think of, to be honest. But I think it won't be as dominant this game because I think that now they see what he's doing in terms of his floating around everywhere. He is their fullback in attack.
Yeah,
Teddy's a freak, but Turbo is their fullback in attack. He was playing that sweeping role both sides in attack, and I think he'll do the same again. So I think that they lost it in the forwards, to be honest, and then the backs just
took over.
Right, yeah, for sure. Gagai was very poor. I don't think he'll be that poor ever again.
I think he's
such an Origin player.
I think he donned on the Rabbitohs jersey that game. Not on the Queensland one.
Little flick on the flick the switch to Rabbitohs, but
just flip the switch. Flip it. But look, mate, just one concern. Are you sure Joe Arrow's going to play, mate? Your boy's in hospital now. What is this crap? What is this crap that comes out about players in Queensland being hospitalised?
Every time.
It doesn't work.
I heard.
No one cares.
I heard Paul Kent saying that they should bring him out into the stadium, out of the ambulance. They should just run out of the ambulance instead.
What is this? A WWE entrance? I don't understand. I don't understand that.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, it's a big loss, but he'll play.
Yeah,
even
of course.
The doctor downplayed what happened.
He'll play for sure.
Somehow, all of them get someone gets an infection every time. Someone's close to dying.
Listen, the only thing at this age is stopping him is literally COVID. Apart from that, nothing's stopping this team.
The only thing that's stopping Turbo is if he catches COVID.
Yeah,
on his flight there. Otherwise, he's got another 3 tries this game.
Oh, yeah, he's just going to run and wire. Well, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on another episode of League Chat with the Stat. Mil, thanks for jumping on, man.
Thanks, mate.
No, mate, it's good to have you on.
Again, that was brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, you know where to find us. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Yeah. Get some of these hats into you.
Yeah, join me some of the hats. The blacks were looking good. The white, pretty impressive as well. Make sure you're donning that.
I'm not a hat person, but this
look
better on you than it does on me, I'll tell you that.
Well, I just found my model for my hat, so look how that go. Now, guys, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the State of Origin build up to game number 2. Up the Blues.
Awesome.
And we'll see you guys soon. Take it easy, guys.